Honorable judges, my fellow colleagues, and dear students, good morning. Welcome to my class. At first, I want to show you a picture about our text. And its description about this picture. So how do you feel about this picture and this paragraph? 所谓爱情，大概有时候很爱他，有的时候想一枪崩了他，更多时候是在买枪的路上看到他爱喝的豆浆。就忘了自己是来杀他的。So how do you feel about this description? You students are so young, so I would like to invite another gentleman to share his opinion with us. Okay, how about nice Professor Qin? Okay, are you happy in your marriage? Okay, I shouldn't ask you this kind of question because you look like a happy man. So if you are required to pick out a word to describe this picture, which word will firstly jump into your mind? What? Contradiction. Okay, very good. Contradiction. Different life stages are full of different contradictions, right? And the most contradicted age actually is emerging adulthood, which is our today's focus and topic. And my teaching objectives are divided into 3 parts. In reading 1, you will fully understand the key word in this text, emerging adulthood. And in writing and speaking, you will practice a logical expression pattern in MDSA. And the last part, you will provoke your critical thinking and to touch upon the glamour of language. And to realize these goals, we're going to go through 3 steps: theme explorations, and language applications, and the cultural reflections. I hope you can bring out our handout. In the 3rd paragraph, the author gave us a very simple description about emerging adulthood. Okay, try to find it. The author just said emerging adulthood is ranged from 18 to 25. But actually, it's not sufficient for us to fully understand it, right? So I want to, first, I think we should figure out the meaning of emerging. So please look at the whiteboard. When one thing merges with another, that means they combine together to make one whole thing. And how about this one, submerge? What's the meaning of this prefix? You can guess the meaning from another word, subway, right? Way means road, and sub means beneath. So subway means 地铁. And submerge means something goes below the water. And as for emerge, E is also a direction prefix which stands for outward. Yeah, outward. So emerge means something comes out. So how to understand emerging? Emerging means some new thing is coming out, right? And something is in a rising procedures. So I would like to translate emerging adulthood as 成年初显期 or 将立未立时. To fully understand it, let's come to the focus of our task, the 5 features of emerging adulthood. The first feature the author told us is identity explorations. So how does the author explain this? How does the author explain? He said we should find what? We should find
who they are and what they want to do with their lives.
So as for identity, we should find who we are and what we want to do. And as for explorations, okay, please find out some verbs which have the similar meaning with explore. Some verbs, found that? Yeah, very good.
Try out.
Okay, try out. Anything else? Yeah, discover. We can find figure out, try out, and discover. To fully understand discover, it will remind me of a famous poem written by Huang Tingjian. It's just like we are searching ourselves in a dark wood. 我欲穿花行路，直入白云深处。 So as for the second feature, okay, please look at our text. Second feature is instability, right? So tell me what's the key sentence in this paragraph? What's the key sentence? It's difficult to read together, difficult to predict where they will be. Yes, very good. And what they will be doing from one year to another. And how about the key word in this paragraph? Keyword. Yeah, very good. Changes. Instability refers to changes, unpredicted changes. Because 今年花落颜色改，明年花开复谁在? So it's kind of changes, right? As for the third feature, self-focus, at first you got to figure out focus on what? Okay, look at the paragraph. Focus on self-development. Good. But how? How? The author said they should have more freedom and space. Just like a fish enjoy a free swim in the broad ocean and a bird soar in the vast sky. Could you still remember that poem? 海阔 Okay, 海阔 louder please. 海阔凭月，天高任鸟飞. In a free space, you have right and time to focus on yourself. As for the fourth one, is feeling in between. It's a kind of feeling between adolescence and adulthood. So the author adopted a very exact phrase to describe it. That is mixed feeling. It's a kind of a mixed feeling, just as Li Bai expressed in his poem. 弃我去者，昨日之日不可留；乱我心者，今日之日多烦忧。You cannot go back to your past, but you can never come to your future immediately. So it's kind of a complicated feeling. As for the last feature, sense of possibilities. The author mentioned the two characteristics. The first one is they are highly, louder please. Optimistic about the future and believe all doors are open to them, right? So just like Chairman Mao depicted this kind of situation in his famous poem, 沁园春长沙，恰同学少年，风华正茂，书生意气，挥斥方遒。It's just like you are standing on the top of the world and imagine you can conquer all the obstacles in the future, right? So after discussing the 5 features in detail with the help of our Chinese traditional poems, I wonder whether we can make 5 features into a simple classification. So please come to the first paragraph together, okay? At the very beginning, the author mentioned 2 sides of emerging adulthood. What? 2 sides? Yeah, the positive side and not so positive side. So please tell me, how about the positive side? Identity exploration and self-focus and sense of possibility, right? As for not so positive side, they are, very good, instability and feeling in between. So have you found that? Here, the author used the former information correspond to the latter one. Just because you are discovering yourself with freedom and space, so you feel very optimistic and full of zest for your life, right? And just because you felt the instability and feeling in between, so you have trouble finding a direction in your life, right? So after talking so much about the focus of this text, now let's try to come theme exploration. As for the theme of a text, I have my own understanding. You should take the following 3 aspects into consideration: subject, focus, and the author's attitude. So please tell me, what's the subject of this text?
Emerging adulthood.
Yeah, emerging adulthood. And how about the focus? just we talking about the 5 features, right? And how about the author's attitude? We can easily find in the latter part, in the next paragraph. In many ways, the rise of
This new life stage is a good thing.
it's a good thing. The author used good to show his definitely optimistic attitude, right? So combine them together. So try to explore the theme. Would you like have a try?
Well, the theme that the author wants to express is that although emerging adulthood has some shortcomings like instability and the feeling in between, however, it is full of advantages and we should make full use of these advantages.
Good. Combine 3 components together, we can easily draw a conclusion. Although emerging adulthood is in possession of a positive side and not so positive side, it's still a good life stage, right? And as for the latter part of the whole text, the author used a strictly logical pattern. In the first paragraph, he showed his opinion and then gave some illustration. In the next paragraph, he mentioned some demerits and followed by illustration. And then he gave us some solution. What should the parents do? And in the last paragraph, he mentioned and emphasized his key point. That is, emerging adulthood is very good. We should treat it as a normal stage of life, right? So it is strictly a logical pattern. Merit, demerit, solution, and key point. So you are supposed to make a practice referring to the left column about language expression in our text and considering the right column's thinking pattern. And now let's practice a new topic, smartphone. Please look at this pattern and try to speak together, practice together, okay? Look at the right column, the left column. In many ways, the rise of smartphone is a good thing. So how about the illustration? What the advantage of using smartphone? Very good, convenience. But there is downside as well. Downside?
So much information.
So much information, so sometimes we're confused, right? Okay, so what should we do? We think it's wise to make full use of it, right? And above all, you can mention your key point. And now I would like to give you a demo. Okay, try to read it together. Try to keep the pattern in your mind, okay? Quickly. In many ways, the rise of smartphone is a good thing. It enables us to access to innumerable information and contact others, breaking the geography barriers. But there is a downside as well. Some will be so obsessed with the virtual world that ignore the true feeling. So what should we do? Set a time limitation of using your phone a day and stick to it. Above all, smartphone indeed brings convenience as well as entertainment to us human beings, but we should bear in mind, never let the creator turn to become servant. Okay, very good. So after class, I hope you can practice the thinking pattern on different topics, right? As for this, our text, I think it's not a completed one. Why? Because the author failed to provide an example to us. So I would like to supplement this part. In my mind, a typical novel about emerging adulthood is called The Catcher in the Rye. And the typical character is Horton, who doesn't like school and escaping from school, try to venture in the adulthood. Now let's take an overview about his interior monologue to check whether he has the features of our text mentioned, okay? He said you are going to have to find out, so which feature? Which feature? You have to find out yourself. Identity exploration. Yes, he has this feature. And he said, nobody would be different. The only thing that would be different would be you. He has realized everyone will change. So it's instability. And he caused a bug to buy a hat. And he just liked it away, although it looked like a corny. So it's self-focused because he has freedom to be himself, right? And he said, it's very interesting. He said, I don't like say glad to meet you to someone he doesn't like. So it's a mixed feeling, right? But because you want to stay alive, you have to. So it's a really complicated feeling. And in the novel, Holden mentioned his sensibility and his plan, a future plan. He said he will get a job and cook all my food and get married. So it's all the sense of possibility. Yes, Holden does has all the features our text has, right? But if the features are applicable to all the emerging adulthood, now let's look at another character, 贾宝玉, who is really familiar to us, right? And they also said we should find ourselves, but sometimes you don't know who you want to be in the future. But at least you should know who you don't want to. From 宝玉's attitude to three girls, we can easily find. He said, 你就不愿读书去考举人进士的，也要常常会会这些为官做宰的人们。小宝玉 said, 姑娘请别的姐姐屋里坐坐吧，我这里仔细悟了您这知经济学问的。And when 薛宝钗 persuaded him, also follow the same path, he said, 好好的一个清净绝白女儿，也学得沽名钓誉，入了国贼路鬼之流。So why he regarded 黛玉 as his soulmate? Because 林妹妹从来不说那些混账话，不然早和他生分了。So we can find 宝玉 doesn't want to be a person promoted to the official post through the imperial civil examination, right? And he is also a person don't like separation. 只愿长聚，生怕一时散了伤悲。So he has this feature, right? As for self-focus, the author said we should have freedom and the space. So I want to ask you, do you think 宝玉 has freedom space in the feudal society? No. So he always complained, 我只恨我天天圈在家里，一点都做不得主，行动就有人知道，不是这个蓝就是那个圈的，能说不能行。So without freedom and space, so he hasn't this feature. And as for his feeling in between, we all know his great tragedy. He failed to realize his true love in the society, right? So it's a strong contradiction between the dream and the reality. As for his future, he is really pessimistic. He just wants to die now and never want to be a human being. So compared with our author's mention, we can find it's a strong contrast with our author's attitude. After talking about Holden and 宝玉, I hope you can understand emerging adulthood from another perspective. Emerging adulthood constitutes both an ending and a beginning, a departure and arrival, a death and a rebirth, a meeting of past and future. It's full of contradiction. So after class, I hope you can make a close reading about 3 classical novels concerning emerging adulthood. They are The Catcher in the Rye, The Sorrows of Young Widow, and The Dreams of Red Mansion. And you are supposed to make a close comparison and contrast about the 3 boys from the following 3 aspects. Anti-traditional character, and respect and love to the female, and attitude toward life and death. Emerging adulthood actually is a very hard period in our time. But no matter how old we are, I think we shouldn't forget we were young men with light in our eye and a passion for the future and a dream in our heart. Because just as Henry David Thoreau ever said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation, but only in their dreams can men be truly free. So as your teacher and colleagues and honorable judges all there, I hope everyone should never forget we were young men. 莫忘少年凌云志，曾许天下第一流。Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now let's listen to the judge for the questions.
Okay.
You used quite a lot of Chinese. How can you justify that?
Because as a teacher who has teaching English for 10 years, I have found that in our college English teaching, we have covered several aspects. We have language points, explanation, and we have structure analysis, theme explorations. But we are lack of a very fundamental and important teaching aspect. That is, let the student guide them to feel and to touch upon the glamour of language, no matter English and Chinese. So I just adopted some classical, our traditional Chinese culture to let students feel, wow, so beautiful. Our native language so beautiful. That is a kind of way to inspire them to touch upon the glamour of English, the beauty of English. So I think the combination of Chinese, especially the classical culture, with English is a very good way to make them feel interested and attracted to the fascination of language.
You said you have to let the students understand how beautiful our mother language is. So that is not the task for English language class.
Yes, but we have a biggest problem now. That is, our students have no interest in learning English. So how to provoke their interest is our first priority thinking part. So I just adopted this kind of way to make them feel the beauty, because a beautiful thing has natural and powerful energy to attract the students.
Okay. Then
Thank you.
I'll follow suit. Do you know what does follow suit mean?
Follow suit. You mean?
Now that you use quite a lot of English, I would like to quite a lot of Chinese. I would like you to use it again. That is, what does follow suit mean?
Follow suit in kind of teaching method.
Well, would you please look at the title of the text?
Okay.
Incidentally, in your teaching, you mentioned the authors of this title, but you used a single form instead of plural form. But we have two writers here. Right.
Yes.
But you said the writer, he, or something like
sorry,
that.
Sorry, I failed to notice
How would
that.
you translate, now that you are interested in Chinese as well, how would you translate the title into Chinese?
Okay. 对于不是啊，我想想。30岁是否是一个新的20岁？
What does it mean?
What does it mean? It means for today's young adults, 30 age is really a new 20 in the past. Just like, although you are 30 now, but you still have a passion about in 20 age. That is my understanding. And my further understanding about the title is that no matter how old you are, you should still remember you were once a young man of 20.
No, that is an extension. But I just want to know the exact meaning of this title.
Okay, it's the exact meaning is that here
in Chinese.
Okay. New 20 here. New 20 here just means emerging adulthood. 成年出现期.
How about 30 here?
30 here means the real age. Your real age. So the author just clarified some special features of emerging adulthood that is new 20. Why it's new? Because it's some special characteristics in this time. That's the difference between the past age, past time.
Okay, then your final Chinese version is.
成年出险期。成年出险期对于30岁的意义。
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.